guys, this topic is molecular biology. It's going to cover topics 2.1, 2.3, and 2.4. Before we get into our notes, take a second and read understandings 2.1.1 to 2.1.6. This is going to take us through this entire video lecture, these 6 understandings. And then also before we get started, try and brainstorm and remember, what are the 4 essential molecules for life? Molecular biology includes the understanding of both organic and inorganic compounds that are involved in the processes of life. An organic compound is any compound containing carbon and found in living organisms, while an inorganic compound does not contain carbon. The majority of molecules involved in life processes are organic, while inorganic molecules are only present in trace amounts. But both are essential for life processes. In addition, inorganic compounds have a few carbon exceptions, including carbon dioxide, hydrogen carbonates, and calcium carbonates. So even though those do contain carbon, they are not considered organic. So we are going to be getting very familiar with a few categories of carbon compounds. This includes carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Those are our 4 essential organic carbon compounds needed for life. For all of these, they also contain hydrogen and oxygen, while nitrogen is also found in proteins. So between carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, those are basic building blocks for all 4 of these key compounds. You will be drawing these, but we're going to complete that in class. So I'm just going to go through a couple basic building blocks for proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids. We won't deal with DNA right now because DNA actually has its own particular topic. So first we're going to start with proteins. Proteins are built out of smaller molecules called amino acids. There are a total of 20 common amino acids found in the proteins of living organisms. Excuse me. And amino acids combine to form what are called polypeptides, which are long chains of amino acids. These polypeptides can then combine and fold in order to form complex proteins. Now, proteins all have a basic structure to them with a central carbon, a side amino group, you can see here and here, a side carboxylic acid group, and a lone hydrogen. So all amino acids have this in common, but the 20 different amino acids, the one area that they differ is this R group. So the R group is going to be the identifying group as far as identifying an amino acid goes. Next we have our carbohydrate building blocks. We've got kind of 2 categories of carbohydrate building block. We have a hexagonal ring, which glucose is an example of. You can see that it's a 6-sided ring containing carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And then we can also have a pentagonal structure, and ribose is an example of our pentagon. Both of these are carbohydrates. Both of them are a ring structure, and both of them can bond together to form polymers or polysaccharides, which are basically just more than one saccharide combined together. There's also simple disaccharides, which would be 2 monomers of a carbohydrate bonded together. And then lastly we have lipids or fats. Lipids are very, very large molecules composed primarily of a carbon-hydrogen chain, as you can see here. The carbon-hydrogen chain can be very, very long or a little bit shorter. And then we've got the carboxylic acid group here on the end. So these items, these lipid chains, can bind together to form complex lipids, such as the one that you see here, or lipids known as triglycerides, which I'll show you in a moment. So the next thing we're going to do is look at the building up and breaking down of these molecules. And this is really what metabolism is. It is the web of all enzyme-catalyzed reactions in a cell or organism. It does use enzymes or biological catalysts either to build up or break down molecules made available through nutrition. Enzymes are important. We're going to have a whole topic on enzymes coming up, but they are important because they allow complex reactions to occur at low temperatures, which is important for us to maintain a survivable body temperature. So we'll start by looking at the building up process. Combining monomers of carbohydrates, proteins, or lipids is called anabolism. So this is a building process, and the building process is accomplished through a reaction called a condensation reaction that combines two molecules together via covalent bonding. So when the condensation reaction occurs, we've got two groups that are going to interact right here. And essentially what you need to know is when a condensation reaction occurs, what happens is we lose a hydroxide from here and a hydrogen from here, and that allows a place for these two to then bond together. And we have a waste product of water. So when these two combine, they combine in a way that one molecule of water is produced. And this example is showing anabolism, or a condensation reaction between two glucose molecules. Here we see a condensation reaction occurring between two amino acids. So again, we've got our hydroxide group here, our hydrogen here. That makes an available area for the two amino acids to bind, and again we have a byproduct of water. And then finally we can see it amongst our lipids as well. This is the building of a triglyceride, so it's actually a more complex reaction here. We have 3 fatty acid chains and then 1 glycerol. So we've actually got 3 condensation reactions occurring here to form this triglyceride, and as a result 3 water molecules are formed. So you will spend some time drawing and taking some more time to understand condensation reactions. But this is the flip side. So anabolism is the building up of compounds of polypeptides or polysaccharides or large fats. We can also, as a group, call those polymers, where catabolism is the breaking down of polymers into dimers or monomers. So we're breaking down complex molecules. This occurs anytime food is digested, and it's accomplished by what's known as a hydrolysis reaction. And this is essentially just the reverse of the condensation reaction. So this time, instead of a water being produced, a water molecule is consumed. So here we've got our water molecule, and we've got that hydrogen being replaced and the hydroxide being replaced. Same situation is going on here. So it simply is just a reversal of that reaction, of that condensation reaction. This does require energy, so does anabolism to some extent, and so there are different enzymes that are going to participate in hydrolysis and in condensation. So we are going to stop there for today. We'll continue with more detailed information about carbohydrates, proteins, and lipids in class. Please write down any questions that you have, and we will discuss further. Thanks.